Good morning, nerds. How's everybody's day going? Everybody's morning. Let's see. I think we're going to mix up the music for this morning. Let's see, what does Spotify have to offer? I'm liking it. Elijah is my boy's name, just not spelled with the J. Eliza is his name, so I'll definitely stick around. Oh, cool. That's cool. I didn't know you had a kid, Tater. There's a beard. Is the beard looking clean? Is it looking scruffy? Just woke up. I've been trying to fix my sleep schedule this week after Monday's stream. It was a really good stream, but I stayed up way too late. And it's thrown off my sleep schedule completely. Oh, in heaven, that's where Eliza is. I'll explain better on Discord. Okay. I got you, Tater. Sorry to hear that. And we don't need to get into that here if you don't want to. All right. I'll be make sure that YouTube's all set. YouTube's the grouchy one. I take that back. TikTok is the grouchy one. YouTube is the one that likes to complain the most. By the way, the name is CJ. You've earned it. Oh, that's cool. Hello, CJ. Well, if I haven't stated it already, I'm Grumpy Grizz, also known as Jonathan Hansel. And most people try to keep their names safe on the internet. I don't mind so much because, like, I'm literally about to build a game studio. Or, I say that. I'm literally working towards building a game studio, so people are going to know my name anyways. You know? Right. Let me... Oh, I gotta... Hold up. I gotta get... Turn down my ads. This is a morning stream. There we go. Supporting and hopefully helping. I'll definitely be supporting your studio and dreams. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank y'all. Yeah, I plan on once I finish out school, I plan on trying to work for a studio for a while. preferably a small studio so that I can kind of get the ins and outs of how an indie studio works and everything. And then I can eventually start moving into owning my own studio. I wouldn't hate working for a big studio for a while though. That would like teach me the ins and outs of just the trade in general first, and then maybe going into an indie studio to seeing like how does a small studio work and how do they do it, and then eventually going into making my own game studio. I think that'd be cool. We'll see. I don't know. I'm gonna keep it praying, and God's gonna open the doors. I gotta just choose to walk, you know? Gotta do adult things. I'll be back, Grizzly Bear. Okay, Tater. That's what I want to do too. Nice. Also, we are slowly updating the stream itself. I think it's starting to look pretty good. We have new chats above, which should show as soon as somebody chats, whether they're on YouTube, TikTok, or Twitch. And then further down to the bottom right of the screen, it now shows a viewer count as a total view count of all viewers on all platforms. I think that's going to be kind of cool. We're going to add a few more things. We also have integrated a queue system that works across all 3 platforms. I'm excited to see that work. Okay, let's see. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. We do a little test chat here over on the YouTubes. Hey, there we go. That was a lot faster than how it normally is. Normally it's like a 10 to 12-second delay, but this was near instant. That's gonna be really nice. That's a lot faster. Okay, before we move into studying who Elijah is and everything, let's get some context about the book of 1 Kings. Because I don't really know a lot about 1 Kings in general. Might be a short Bible study this morning, as I'm trying to get the sleep schedule under control and everything. Okay. Book of 1 Kings transitions ancient Israel from a united golden age under King Solomon to a fractured, morally declining nation splitting into 2 rival kingdoms, monitored by God's prophets, written around 560 to 540 BCE during the Babylonian exile. It explains how spiritual compromise led to national tragedy. Continuation follows the books of Samuel and was originally part of a single Hebrew scroll with 2 kings. The timeline covers roughly 120 years from David's death to the mid-9th century BCE. Attributed by Jewish tradition to the prophet Jeremiah. Oof. I need this update to kick in. Main sections of 1 Kings is Solomon's reign from chapter 1 to 11. Begins with a power struggle solved as Solomon takes the throne. He asks for wisdom, grows fabulously wealthy, builds the temple in Jerusalem. Later, his foreign wives introduced idol worship. And then the divided kingdom, which is chapters 12 through 16, will be starting in chapter 14, I think? No, 17. So right after the kingdom is divided is when we're stepping in. Solomon's son Rehoboam acts harshly, causing the 10 north tribes to rebel under Jeroboam. Israel splits into the north kingdom and the southern kingdom, both sliding into idolatry. The Elijah narratives, 17 through 22, which is where we're stepping in. The focus shifts to the northern kingdom's extreme corruption under King Ahab and Queen Jezebel. The prophet Elijah confronts them to turn the people back to God. Interesting. Okay. So we're stepping in right now where Elijah is trying to bring the people back to God, and the kingdom is literally split in half. Now, Elijah, the Tishbite from Tishba in Gilead, said to Ahab, "As the Lord, the God of Israel, lives, whom I serve, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years except at my word." Okay. Just straight up. Tells the king, but I believe Ahab is the king of the northern region? Let me see. Yes, Northern Kingdom. Ahab is the 7th king of the Northern Kingdom of Israel who ruled for 22 years. The Bible describes him as one of the most wicked kings, and he married Jezebel, which we've always heard jokes about, like, "Be gone from me, you Jezebel, you temptress woman." This is her. And she is evil. He married Jezebel, promoted the worship of the idol Baal, which that's a rough situation in general, and frequently fought with the prophet Elijah. Ahab's family, son of King Omri and husband of Jezebel, a princess of Sidon who promoted pagan worship. Reign ruled from Samaria for about 22 years, bringing political strength but severe spiritual decline. Conflict with Elijah, faced a long drought and a famous showdown on Mount Carmel because he turned away from God. I'm ready for the showdown on Mount Carmel, because that's going to be sick. Naboth's vineyard allowed Jezebel to falsely accuse and kill Naboth to steal his vineyard, bringing a strong judgment from Elijah. His death, he has a pretty insane death, but we're gonna save that one. Okay. Now, Elijah just shows up one day, the Tishbite from Tishba, which makes sense, in Gilead, said to Ahab, "As the Lord, the God of Israel, lives, whom I serve, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years except at my word." Dude just shows up, tells Ahab what's good, and then, yeah, he's the Tishbite from Tishba. That makes sense. It'd be like Grumpy Grizz is the Okie from Oklahoma. It's like, yeah, he's so-and-so is the Texan from Texas. It's like, that makes sense, but what about the rest of it? It's like, that's not important. He showed up, gave the word of God, and now it's going down. Straight up. Verse 2. Then the word of the Lord came to Elijah. "Leave here, turn eastward, and hide in the Kerith ravine, east of the Jordan. You will drink from the brook, and I have directed the ravens to supply you with food there." So he did what the Lord had told him. He went to the Kerith ravine, east of the Jordan, and stayed there. The ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning, and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the brook. That's cool. And I mean, I'm sure you guys know, but there's a cool thing about ravens, where ravens are really smart, and they're very loyal to, like, kind deeds, and they remember evil. I don't know what it is. Ravens are just stinking cool. And so it's cool that to think that these ravens just started showing up, dropping off food. Because I almost wonder if, like, God gave them a trade. I mean, obviously God can just tell ravens, like, hey, go take food to this guy. But I find it kind of interesting to think of, like, God shows up and he's like, hey, if you deliver this manna for me, I'll bring you this bottle cap. Just some kind of trade, because the ravens are smart. I find that interesting. I find it funny. Because he says, you know, the Bible says he takes care of the sparrows. Why? How much more will he take care of you? I just wonder if he gave anything to the ravens as a trade. I just find that funny. I don't know. Big Bunny Trail. All right. So he did what the Lord had told him, and he went to the Kerith ravine east of the Jordan and stayed there. The ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning, and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the brook. Elijah and the widow at Zarephath. Sometime later, the brook dried up because there had been no rain in the land. Then the word of the Lord came to him, "Go at once to Zarephath, in the region of Sidon, and stay there. I have directed a widow there to supply you with food." So he went to Zarephath. When he came to the town gate, a widow was there gathering sticks. He called to her and asked, "Would you bring me a little water in a jar so I may have a drink?" As she was going to get it, he called, "And bring me, please, a piece of bread." "As surely as the Lord your God lives," she replied, "I don't have any bread, and only a handful of flour in a jar, and a little olive oil in a jug. I am gathering a few sticks to take home, make a meal for myself and my son, that we may eat it and die." Elijah said to her, "Don't be afraid. Go home, do as you have said, but first make a small loaf of bread for me from what you have and bring it to me, and then make something for yourself and your son. For this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says: the jar of flour will not be used up, and the jug of oil will not run dry until the day of the Lord sends rain on the land." She went away and did as Elijah had told her. So there was food every day for Elijah and for the woman and her family. For the jar of flour was not used up, and the jug of oil did not run dry, in keeping with the word of the Lord spoken by Elijah. Listen intently. Hey, Limpid. Sometime later, the son of the woman who owned the house became ill. He grew worse and worse, and finally he stopped breathing. She said to Elijah, "What do you have against me, man of God? Did you come to remind me of my sin and kill my son?" "Give me your son," Elijah replied. He took him from her arms and carried him to the upper room where he was staying, and laid him on his bed. Then he cried out to the Lord, "Lord my God, have you brought tragedy even on this widow I am staying with, by causing her son to die?" Then he stretched himself out on the boy 3 times and cried to the Lord, "Lord my God, let this boy's life return to him." The Lord heard Elijah's cry, and the boy's life returned to him, and he lived. Elijah picked up the child and carried him down from the room in the house. He gave him to his mother and said, "Look at your son. Look, your son is alive." Then the woman said to Elijah, "Now I know that you are a man of God, and that the word of the Lord from your mouth is the truth." I want to put in context here. Whenever it says stretched himself out on the boy 3 times, I believe he's more so saying, like, he put his arms out wide and, like, leaned over him. He stretched himself over and everything. Not, the context of today. That's not what's happening here. So this chapter is a lot of stuff going on, and I almost feel like we need to back up a little bit. there's a lot going on here. I think we might back up to verse 29 in chapter 16 to give a little bit more context. So let's read and find out. In the 38th year of Asa, king of Judah, Ahab, son of Omri, became king of Israel, and he reigned in Samaria over Israel 22 years. Ahab, son of Omri, did more evil in the eyes of the Lord than any of those before him. He not only considered it trivial to commit the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, but he also married Jezebel, daughter of Ethbaal, king of the Sidonians, and began to serve Baal and worship him. He set up an altar for Baal in the temple of Baal that he built in Samaria. Oh my gosh. Ahab also made an Asherah pole and did more to arouse the anger of the Lord, the God of Israel, than did all the kings of Israel before him. In Ahab's time, Hiel of Bethel rebuilt Jericho. He laid its foundations at the cost of his firstborn son, Abiram, and set up its gates at the cost of his youngest son, Segub. Golly. In accordance with the word of the Lord spoken by Joshua, son of Nun. Yeesh. Got evil. Sorry, I missed you guys. I had a terrible day at work yesterday. I just could not get home to tune in. Oh, you're fine. You're fine, dude. It's okay. You were missed, but it's okay. So then, after King Ahab shows up and he starts, really screwing up, Elijah just shows up suddenly and he's like, oh, by the way, as the Lord, the God of Israel, lives, whom I serve, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years except at my word. And then right after that, God's like, hey, you gotta go. You gotta dip. Ahab's gonna be upsetty. So then the word of the Lord came to Elijah, leave here, turn eastward and hide in the Kerith ravine, east of the Jordan. I'll take care of you there, essentially. So then God took care of him by having him drink from the ravine and had ravens bring him bread and meat. Bread and meat in the morning, bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the brook. That's wild. And then, like, this story with the widow, I'm interested in understanding. Food. Elijah tells her to feed him first, and God makes her flour and oil last through the entire famine. Widow explains she's gathering sticks to cook her final bit of food. Interesting. Hold up. I'm actually interested in something quick. Okay. So this whole thing is interesting. A lot of it, I believe, is just comes from like just have faith in God, and if you feel called to something, you need to do it. And not to worry about the minor details, or not the minor details, but not to worry about the necessities, because God will deliver. Because he even took care of Elijah with the meat and bread. And so, I don't know, it kind of goes back to Paul, how much more then will he take care of the situation here? And so they probably were worried, of course, that they would be out of food and everything, but God still provided even though they were, God still provided even in the scary part when they didn't have enough for food. Which I feel like kind of applies to a lot of us, especially a lot of us struggling financially. We're gonna move on to chapter 18. We only have a few minutes left, so we're gonna go ahead and finish out with chapter 18. Maybe just this section. I'd be interested to hear what y'all have to say and what you think. After a long time, in the 3rd year, the word of the Lord came to Elijah, "Go and present yourself to Ahab, and I will send rain on the land." So Elijah went to present himself to Ahab. Now the famine was severe in Samaria, and Ahab had summoned Obadiah, his palace administrator. Obadiah was a devout believer in the Lord. While Jezebel was killing off the Lord's prophets, Obadiah had taken 100 prophets and hidden them in 2 caves, 50 in each, and had supplied them with food and water. Wow, that's epic. Ahab had said to Obadiah, "Go through the land to all the springs and valleys. Maybe we can find some grass to keep the horses and mules alive, so we will not have to kill any of our animals." So they divided the land they were to cover, Ahab going in one direction, Obadiah in the other. As Obadiah was walking along, Elijah met him. Obadiah recognized him, bowed down to the ground, and said, "Is it really you, my lord Elijah?" "Yes," he replied. "Go tell your master, Elijah is here." We'll pick up from verse 9 here in just a second. See, my interpretation of that is people sometimes get confused with not granting their wants, but he will always supply the need. People get confused on what's a want and what's in need. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah. Okay. Verse 9. So Elijah had just told Obadiah, who Obadiah is kind of a secret servant for the Lord. Elijah just told Obadiah, "Hey, go get Ahab, the evil king who's literally murdering believers in God." He said, "Go get him and let me meet with him. Tell him Elijah is here." Obadiah responds with, "What have I done wrong, that you are handing your servant over to Ahab to be put to death? As surely as your God lives, as surely as the Lord your God lives, there is not a nation or kingdom where my master has not sent someone to look for you. And whenever a nation or kingdom claimed you were not there, he made them swear they could not find you. But now you tell me to go to my master and say, Elijah is here. I don't know where the Spirit of the Lord may carry you when I leave you. If I go and tell Ahab, and he doesn't find you, he will kill me. Yet I, your servant, have worshipped the Lord since my youth. Haven't you heard, my Lord, what I did while Jezebel was killing the prophets of the Lord? I hid 100 of the Lord's prophets in 2 caves, 50 in each, and supplied them with food and water. And now you tell me to go to my master and say, Elijah is here? He will kill me. Elijah said, As the Lord Almighty lives, whom I serve, I will surely present myself to Ahab today. Okay, back up just a little bit. For this dude, I don't blame him. Going to the ultimate prosecutor of the believers and then just being like, look, I've done all this really good stuff for the Lord. I've done everything that have been asked of. And now I'm just kind of terrified because if I go tell him you're here and then the Lord's Spirit like swoops you away somewhere, which is kind of some fun foreshadowing, I feel like. If the Lord's Spirit swoops you away from here, whoa. I'm dead. I'm dead. Sorry, I'm late. Didn't see the notification at Tron. That's okay, Gundam. We're having I'm having some late starts as of this week for the morning streams, just because I'm trying to get my sleep schedule back in order. So it's no worries. We started real late today, like 20 minutes, like 10 or 15. I think it was 15 or 20 minutes late. So that's my bad. Kings 2:11, Elijah's taken to heaven in a whirlwind with chariots of fire. My favorite verse. Yes. Is it 2 Kings 2? Or is it first? Because we're in chapter 18. And Elijah's not mentioned before chapter 17. Back, I just talked with Full Sail about my classes and such, and they were surprised that I did everything they wanted me to do already. Nice. I believe 2 Kings. Okay. Ooh, Elijah on Mount Carmel? Oh my gosh. We're saving this one. We're waiting. We're gonna end stream here because Mount Carmel is such a cool story. We're gonna pick that up tomorrow morning. Immediately. It's so good. Okay. Elijah on Mount Carmel is amazing. Yes, 100%. I'm super excited for that one. We're back to just regular Lurk scoring, and we're also ending streams, so no worries. Let's see. I can't tell if I should keep Super Lurk or not. Let's see. I think we're gonna raid. Let's raid Frozen. Alright, y'all. I'm gonna call it for me. Y'all have a good one.